Assalamu alaikum everybody, this is your brother Sam and a very warm welcome back to another video here on the Sam of Somalia channel. It might be a huge surprise for you to hear, but even I get some hate mail every now and again. I've had comments saying things like, why would this guy bother learning Somali? Is he really genuine or does he have ulterior motives? Or even things as ridiculous as, you're taking up Somali space, it should be Somali people teaching the Somali language. Obviously this is ridiculous and people who can't see why a non-Somali would be interested in learning Somali clearly have no insight or love for their own language in the first place. If they can't imagine why a non-Somali would be interested in it, then clearly it's a reflection of their own very low opinion of their own language and culture. Obviously, other languages around the world, and most of you who learnt a language at school like French or Spanish, were probably taught by someone who is not French or not Spanish. And learning Somali is actually the same. So in this video, I just want to go over some of the positives and negatives of having a non-native teaching a language. So we're going to go straight into that after we thank our sponsors very quickly. I'm sure all of you have some sort of dream of becoming fluent in another language and getting to enjoy all of the benefits that it can bring, whether that's work opportunities, opportunities to travel, or if it's like me and you just want a chance to sweet talk the in-laws. But there's a simple fact about learning a new language, and that's that you need real human, real contact time to practice and to drill your new language. You may be able to learn a ton of grammar and language concepts from resources online and books you can get on Amazon, but real fluency demands real human contact. italki is a website and an app which is teeming with supportive teachers, where you can get the guidance that you need tailored to your learning needs. On italki, a whole bunch of people, in fact, over 3 million people, are learning languages to a level of fluency with quality and effective teachers who are also native speakers. As you can see, there are over 100 languages available, including English, Spanish, Italian, Chinese, Russian, and much more. Not only does italki have over 5,000 teachers ready and waiting for you, but it's affordable, so you don't need an enormous budget to reach your language learning goals. To get $10 free credit after you buy your first lesson on italki, click the link in the description below. So I'm in a few Facebook groups for learning other languages, and quite often in these language exchange groups I see people say something along the lines of, I speak X language and I would like a person who speaks Y language to teach me their language. And I put up a comment saying that usually that doesn't actually work for people. Actually, it's more appropriate to approach someone who has already experienced the language learning process rather than a native speaker who probably takes all of the grammar and all the pronunciation completely for granted. So that's generally the main difference, right? Like, no doubt in my Arabic language learning experience, the very best Arabic language teachers that I've ever been taught by an advanced level are all Arabs themselves, right? So you obviously get native speakers who do have an incredible command over their own language, but that usually comes from a lot of studying and it shouldn't just be taken for granted. But if somebody has gone through the learning process of learning a new language, then actually for a beginner, it's my opinion that they are a much better person to approach for learning the basics. A person who's learnt a language from scratch, just like you're doing, is somebody who appreciates how difficult the pronunciation is to overcome for your native tongue, and it's somebody who appreciates how bizarre and alien the grammar is for your native language as well, which is what a lot of my viewers have found. You know, a lot of my viewers, even if they might be ethnic Somalis themselves, but they're raised in a country like Sweden or the UK or something, for the basics of the grammar and stuff, they find it more accessible to listen to my videos than to listen to some really advanced Somali language Somali teachers. But something that you would be right to worry about is the accuracy and the quality in which they deliver their information in. I make mistakes in my Somali, right? Like, I actually don't present myself as a Somali teacher. I'm a Somali language blogger. I'm a Somali language enthusiast. I use terms like that more often because I'm not strictly a teacher, right? I'm not an authority on the Somali language. I just bring you guys with me on my learning process. So there are mistakes in my videos. I always do my best to correct them. If there are mistakes that are highlighted to me, I'll always put them in the descriptions as well. But I mean, that is something that is fair. You know, that is fair for people to be concerned about. So what I'd say is, that isn't just for non-natives, by the way. Like, if somebody is an ethnic Somali, they might also make mistakes, right? So it's not necessarily about being a Somali or being a non-Somali. It's about having credentials. Do you know what I mean? Like I was taught at university by a Somali language professor who's English, who's white British, right? Martin Orwin, the author of this book, actually, I've got it right here. The author of this book, like, he actually conducted my oral exam in Somali, and like, I know him. You know what I mean? And he is a lot better person to approach for Somali language grammar than most Somalis who you'll meet living in America or living in the UK or Sweden or whatever. So it's not necessarily about them being a Somali or a non-Somali. It's about, do they have the credentials? Are they good enough? So in my experience and in my humble opinion, if you're a beginner, it's good to have somebody who's close to being a beginner. You know, someone who is strong in the beginner stuff and isn't too far away from it. because when you're in the beginner stage, it's important that the teacher or the person you're following or the person that you're, just getting your Somali language influence from is familiar with your reference points, is familiar with your struggles, is familiar with the things that you might find difficult in grammar and pronunciation and in memorizing vocab. So I unapologetically have this channel, right? This is a channel that I'm really proud of, and literally over 1 million people have watched my videos and got value and learned Somali from them. So, it's entirely dependent on what your stage is in the Somali language learning process, and there is absolutely value and merit in all of them. So, my personal opinion, I'm with this, is that for the beginner stage, it's actually better, in my opinion, to learn from a non-native. And that applies to Somali, that applies to Arabic, because with languages that are very alien to yours, especially languages, as I say, like Somali, Arabic, even more so like Chinese and Japanese, that are very alien to yours, the beginner has got some mountains to climb, right? And if you can have someone who is like you, linguistically, to help you climb those mountains at the beginning, that's invaluable. But for me personally, at the stage that I am at the moment, for me to take on Somali language mentors, I would probably only take on native speakers at this point. There are only probably a couple in the world of Somali language, grammarians and stuff who are not Somalis, who would bring me a lot of value. So it depends entirely on what stage you're at, in my opinion. That's everything from this video, but before you go, don't forget to go below and subscribe. We are so close now to 20,000 subscribers, so I'd love it if you guys would help me just get over the ridge, inshallah, so that we can reach a really important milestone for the channel, inshallah. So that's one thing. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications, and if you don't, you'll never see me again. Yeah, you need to hit notifications so that you keep on getting videos, inshallah. And but if you can't do that, then at least give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget to comment in the comment section below before you leave. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.